Glad to be here. My name is Dan Harville. This is for my restorative art class at NTCC. We're talking about proportions, and we're looking at the armature and the steps that we've done over the last semester to make a head out of this, what started out as just a plastic skull, by applying features out of wax. When we look at the head in halves, you'll see here the model from the top of her head to the bottom of her chin is cut in half at the mark where her eyes are. So the head is the same distance from the eyes to the peak of the head to the eyes to the bottom of the chin. Here he is, and I'm pretty close. I think the eyes might be a little high. You could, depends. I took this from an upper angle down, so if I tilted the head a little bit, I think it gets a little bit better, but the proportions were not exactly right, but we're real close. Halfway mark between the top of the head and the chin. I think what it is my chin is elongated a little bit on this model. Looking at the face in thirds, you can see that it's a third of the way from the eyebrows to the hairline, and from the eyebrows to the base of the nose, and then from the base of the nose down to the point of the chin. That's the face in thirds. So checking my armature. Again, we're real close. That's what I got right there. Now, the lower third of the face is where the mouth and the chin area are, and it's a third of the way from the nose to the lips, to the midline of the lips, the line of closure, and it's 2/3 of the space is between the line of closure and the point of the chin. So I think I got this one actually pretty good on my model. See, that one lines up well. So very nice. Moving on to the 2/3 check, we can see that it's 2/3 of the face from the hairline down to the base of the nose, and it's 2/3 of the face, 2/3 of the face from the eyebrows down to the chin. Also, to check the proper proportion for your nose to make sure the protrusion is correct, the same distance from, say, your hairline down to the base of your nose is the same distance from the tip of your nose to your ear canal. And we have that here as well with, I know you can tell this is Pee Wee Herman by just looking at him. The resemblance is just uncanny, isn't it? The eyes in fifths, your face is about 5 eyeballs wide, and we see here that that's indeed the case. You can tell from our model, who's got perfect features, the way everything lines up on her, and they line up very much the same way on my model here. Facial markings come in 2 flavors, natural and acquired. We're going to take a look at a couple of natural ones first here on Pee Wee Herman. You can see the dimple on his right cheek, and he's got the nasal sulcus and the philtrum. Those are natural facial markings. We've got also the same exact things on our dummy. Looking at some acquired facial markings such as the transverse frontal sulci and the inferior palpebral sulcus, the optic facial sulcus, which is, some people call crow's feet, and the nasolabial sulcus, which will become more pronounced with age usually. Those are pointed out here on Pee Wee Herman's face. And here they are on my wax head. Looking around, we see some more natural landmarks on the face of this beautiful woman who had the good sense to marry me some 22 years ago. The nasal sulcus, the philtrum, you see, the labiomental sulcus and the submental sulcus, and we'll check those out on my wax head. And there they are. Here he is casketed with his hair done and his makeup applied. The same landmarks you can see on his face as we are about to lay him to rest. Taking a look at some more landmarks here, especially we see some of the mouth markings here, the angulus oris eminence, which is the top part of the lip here that kind of protrudes just a little bit, the angulus oris sulcus, which pulls down on the bottom of the lip there, and we see them in our model here as well. The transverse frontal sulci are these lines across the forehead you see on penny cakes here while we're having tacos across the street at the gas station on a Tuesday, because that's the only day they make tacos at the gas station across the street from our house. And the superior palpebral sulcus right here over her eye, and we'll look at those on my dummy. There they are. He's only got the one transverse frontal sulci, so that's why it's singular instead of plural. Or that, I guess I have that wrong. That would be sulcus would be singular, sulci would be plural. Looking again at some more landmarks, we've got the inciliary sulcus, which are right here. You can see on my model penny. Some people call those the 11s. They're the marks just between the eyebrows, and they're vertical, so they kind of look like, you know, an 11. The optic facial sulci, the crow's feet, there you can see. And then you can also see the cords of the neck, because I think Penny is actually 59. This is the year before she passed away. So, and we have the same landmarks here. More landmarks, the platysmal sulci on her neck and the labial sulci right here where her chin is. And then if you smile a lot, you'll get the bucco, and I'm not sure if I'm saying bucco or buccofacial sulcus there, the big creases near the back of your cheeks. And we see the same landmarks. I used a different angle here on my model. Looking at some of the features that we did over the last semester, we did the nose, which I thought was probably, well, I say it was the easiest, but I took the nose completely off and rebuilt it probably twice before I finally ended up with my final version. It was just too wide and too short and squat each time, so I redid those. But you can see here some of the prominent features of the nose, such as the columella and the dorsum, which is the long part of the nose here. The root, which kind of pivots in a little bit there. Here we are seeing some of the measurements, making sure that everything lines up with the eyeball. You can see that from the interior corners, they cut right, they line up right with the wings. And then if you go from the just medial of the center line of the eyeball, it lines up with the corners of the mouth. So I'll use this photo probably to show that I got the nose right and that I got the mouth right. Here we are checking to make sure the nose is the right protrusion. So we've got the 2/3 rule, 2/3 from the eyebrow down to the chin, and also that marks from the same distance from your ear canal out to the tip of your nose. Looking at the mouth, I've got all the landmarks here. What I thought really interesting was the hunter's bow. I think the mouth for me was actually easier than the nose, although there's less to the nose. I think you can tell by the amount of markings that we have on the nose and then here on the mouth. The mouth is the proper width because it lines up with the median point of the eyeballs. Taking a look at the ears, which I don't mind telling you was really difficult. This might have been actually my third set of ears. I did a set of ears that were just awful, and then I turned them into balls again and started over again, made wedges out of them, made a set of ears that I turned in, but they were so awful that I had to redo them a third time. And although these are a little large, I got all the landmarks in, so I was really pleased with that. I think on the second one, the professor told me that my tragus and antitragus and intertragic notch were awful, so I reworked those. And you know, I mean, for big old Dumbo ears, these aren't terrible. Taking a look at the eyes, lots of landmarks to look at. They're basically almond shaped. I had to move the eye closure, which it should be 2/3 of the upper eyelid and 1/3 of the bottom eyelid. I had them way too low, even though I knew where they should be. I had a hard time getting the right look, so I had to do that a couple of times. This was my inspiration, Pee Wee Herman, and I think I came pretty close with the nose and the eyes and the forehead. The ears, my ears are a little big. I think the lips are right. The chin is way off, wrong. But that would be the only thing that I think doesn't actually work. The face is a little longer on my model than on Pee Wee Herman. And if I'd put a red bow tie on these, you might have had a hard time telling them apart. Anyway, my name is Dan Harville. Thanks for looking.